Hello, let's talk transition to retirement income stream, or TRIS. What is it, and 3 strategies that you can use for your benefit. A transition to retirement income stream allows you to access your accumulated superannuation benefits without needing to be retired. I'll spin the camera around, show you a diagram and explain what it looks like. So if you think of your superannuation fund like this bucket, you've got money that's been going into here probably as part of your work or your wages. You've been accumulating the balance up. Now, once you meet your preservation age, for most people that's likely to be age 60 by now, you can start to access your superannuation in the form of this TRIS. So you start what's called a pension account, TRIS, transition to retirement income stream. That effectively puts a lid on the top of this bucket. You can't add any more to the money to this bucket. If you're still working, you would open another accumulation account and have your contributions from work directed into there. But this accumulated money you've got here that you've converted into a TRIS, you can no longer add any extra money into there. Once you start one of these pensions, you need to take out somewhere between 4 and 10% of your account balance each year. So this will be you'll be eligible for this between the ages of 60 and 65. Once you turn 65, you get a full retirement pension. So you start to take money out between 4 and 10%. The balance of your superannuation fund is still taxable at the ordinary accumulation rate of 15%. This money that you take out down the bottom here, given that you're over the age of 60, you're taking that out tax-free, and the yellow texter is no good in my videos. One important point that I'll make regarding the transition to retirement pension is that there is no maximum amount that you can start a transition to retirement pension with. For those that know a bit of the detail around ordinary retirement pensions, you may be familiar, but there's a $1.9 million cap on how much you can have in pension funds in superannuation. A transition to retirement pension is not one of these $1.9 million limited pensions. So I have a client right now that runs a TRIS, and their TRIS balance is $3 million. They have to each year take out between 4 and 10% of their $3 million TRIS. It's not limited to this $1.9 million. So it gives them access to this money should they want to do so. So that's what a TRIS is. Now this money, as per your question, this money in your TRIS remains invested. So whatever investment option you've chosen within your superannuation fund, whether it's the balance fund or the growth fund, or you've moved it to an SMSF and you've started picking your own investments, whatever this money was invested in before, it stays invested. It will continue to earn returns on this money. You just need to take out somewhere between 4 and 10%. Now, in terms of strategies, the first one's the simplest one, and it's, as the name suggests, you use the transition to retirement income stream or pension from superannuation to actually transition to retirement. So instead of, for example, working 5 days a week, you work 4 days a week or 3 days a week, and in order to top up your income to the current level, what you're used to earning right now, you take a proportionate amount of money from your superannuation fund or your pension fund, your transition to retirement fund. So you work less, top up your income from your superannuation, from your TRIS, and then you have the same kind of spending money as you currently do. That's the first one. That's the simplest one. Strategy number 2 is where we're starting to get a little bit more creative. We call this one tax effective cash. So instead of continuing to earn the income that you earn from work, you pay tax on that at ordinary marginal tax rates as you earn that income and it hits your bank account. Instead, you direct money into your superannuation fund via salary sacrifice and take out a tax-free pension on the other side. It reduces your effective tax rate that you pay on your income, and you still end up with the same take-home pay. Let me explain this one with a diagram. So your starting point for this one is you have some accumulated money in your superannuation fund here. You turn this into a TRIS. So as I said, you kind of put a lid on the top and you start to draw money out, somewhere between 4 and 10% of your account balance. Over on this side, you start another accumulation account. You get your contributions from work redirected into here, but then you do some voluntary salary sacrifice over and above that. So where you have cap available up to the $27,500 limit, you exploit all of that. You put the maximum amount in via salary sacrifice that you can here. Now, when you're doing salary sacrifice, your take-home pay reduces, but instead you take some money from here, and this money here you're taking out tax-free. What you end up doing is you end up capping your tax rate on the contributions at 15%. You're taking out tax-free money down here and you save tax. And then strategy 3, this is more of an estate planning strategy. As you may be aware, for most people, a large part of their superannuation benefit is taxable in the hands of their adult children if they're to inherit that money. So if your spouse inherits your superannuation, that's going to be inherited tax-free. But really anyone other than your spouse is likely to have to pay a fair amount of tax on inheriting your superannuation benefits. Strategy number 3 is using the TRIS to reduce the inheritance tax that your adult beneficiary children may end up having to pay on your super balance. Let me show you this strategy. So under this one, you have your TRIS account again. You take out somewhere between 4 and 10%. This money you're taking out tax-free because you're over the age of 60. Now, you don't need this money. You're still working in your full capacity or whatever capacity you are. You don't actually need this money to live off. So you take it out, but instead of spending this money that you take out, you then go and make a non-concessional contribution back into superannuation. When this money goes back into superannuation, it goes in tax-free. It also makes part of the tax-free component. So as the name suggests, being a tax-free component, when this element of your superannuation benefit passes to your adult beneficiary children, they also inherit it tax-free. So at the start of the video, I was talking about a client that has a $3 million TRIS. The whole reason why we're operating a $3 million TRIS for them is for this strategy. They don't need the money. They're still working. They have plenty of money to live off. But instead, we've elected to start a TRIS with their $3 million balance. They take out somewhere between 4 and 10% every year, and then that money comes out and then goes back into superannuation. In this particular client's case, the money comes out of the husband's account and goes in for the wife. Because the husband has more than $1.9 million in super, he can't actually make any more non-concessional contributions. So it goes in for the wife, but it evens out their superannuation benefits, but also importantly washes away some of the taxable component that is on this, makes it tax-free over here. So when the money is eventually inherited by their children, they will inherit it tax-free.